Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today we're going to be discussing Positional Playbook, the Octopus guard. I have been studying and playing with this for a couple of weeks now, maybe 3-4 weeks. I was aware of the position, but I didn't actually. My current situation is where I'm running a 5 a.m. program at Gracie La Mesa. I don't necessarily have an instructor that I can go to, so I don't find myself in a bunch of many classes at all where I get to be the student. So oftentimes I have to set aside time to study instructionals or videos on YouTube or start asking people questions. Hey, how do you do this? Why are you doing this? What is the thing that you're trying to gain here? Or what is your ultimate goal when you get to this position or whatnot? I have to do that homework on my own. So a couple weeks ago, I decided, you know what? Octopus guard kind of sounds interesting. I see some of my students playing with it. Let me spend some time studying it. Let me buy a instructional. I ended up going with Edward Dellis. He is here in San Diego, has a gym not that far away from me. I should probably stop in and pick his brain if he's willing. But I went that route, and then I got also the Reach Around by Craig Jones and started studying and implementing it. I added it to the morning program in small chunks. We only have about an hour and 5, maybe 10 minutes on a good day. So between a really quick warm up and the rolling at the end, which is we roll at least 3, maybe 4 times, depending on the lesson. I don't have a ton of time, so I had to break down things in 2 technique sets. So it took me a while to kind of build out the majority of what Octopus guard is. And so if you're unfamiliar with the position, it's most uniquely found in when you're in your closed guard and when you're in your half guard. So you're on your back on both positions. One area where some people play it is bottom of side control. I have not been able to pull that off very well or very often. It's not something I do, and I feel awkward there, so I haven't even really bothered. But from bottom half and bottom closed, they set up almost the same way. And what you're trying to do, if we can picture bottom half, I'm on my right side. My left shin is up as knee shield. I'm framing against the bicep, sometimes grabbing the wrist. And I want to get my left arm, through their far side arm on my right side, which is their left arm. Please follow. I know it gets a little wonky when you're doing audio only. And I want to slide through under the arm. Both my arm and my head have to pass underneath his arm. Once I get there, my left arm can do a couple of different grips. We can grab across the lower back, kind of control the hips. We can grab the lat or right under the armpit, and that gives us control with the elbow because now I can control their posture a little bit better. If I go around the lower back, it doesn't control posture, but it gives me a couple of other things that people may like. And then my goal is to get to my elbow and then get up to my hand while still having those grips. If I can build height and get up to my hand and my head is higher than their head, I'm in a really solid position. If I stay on my elbow while still functional, it doesn't have the same height, and they're able to reach back and kind of hook the head and start flattening you out. So if you can get up to your hand and really gain some height on top of your hip, you can do a lot of things from there. Initially, I taught the roll, the hip bump to your right, where you trap the inside leg and you bump through. I had taught working it to your left. If they post up on that near side knee, lifting that and getting all the way to the other side. And then I started playing with butterfly hook. So once you're in the position, if both of their knees are down, I hip escape, and then my left hook comes into butterfly, and we can start off balancing from that position. Most common being we trap they're left with one of your arms, and it's not a heavy trap. It's just more like a block. And then you lift with that hook and you drive to your right like a traditional butterfly sweep. It's just a weird looking one. And then you end up inside, top of half, maybe mount. If they start to turn away from you, you have to ride through, start taking the back. I'll try to provide some videos on here of what you can study if you'd like. Describing it is a bit difficult. One of the issues that I encountered while playing this game was that I was trying to force the octopus guard and it wasn't working for me. And I went to threads and I started asking some people because I knew some people were playing it. So I just put a post, and I said, anyone who's playing this game, I'm having the hardest time doing XYZ. And I got some great responses back. And one of them, a couple of them were, it's not a guard that you can force. It's a guard that you have to use in anticipation for them cross-facing you. So I'm like, okay, so I can't force it. I need to, because I was forcing everything. I was trying to get there on like intentionally. And some people were sitting back. They weren't leaning forward. They weren't trying to cross-face me. Clamping the elbow and preventing me from getting underneath that arm was really easy for them. And it was difficult for me to get to where I wanted to get. So something I started doing was, all right, let me see if I can initiate or threaten with the Kimura. So I would start to kick them with my knee shield to the right. And I would have a hand grip or a wrist grip. And they would post. And I would go for the Kimura. Like, honestly, try to go for it. And if they did not defend well, I had the Kimura and I would start to finish that, or I'd make them roll, or I'd hip bump them. However it went, it's a position I'm really familiar with, so I didn't care what they did. I was going to take advantage of something. The interesting part was when they started defending the Kimura because they noticed that I was trying to get to that position, they would pull the arm away and try to hide it between their chest and my hip. And in doing so, it gave me the octopus entry that I needed. Once I got there, I would start playing the butterfly version of octopus, and I would start sweeping really well. Sometimes they would go to shift their knees too wide, and I would be able to send them to my right. But because of the situation and them shifting their knee, I was able to hip escape, and then start taking the back right off of that. So I started getting a lot of success in the positions based on forcing them to do something. The other thing that I started playing with was, what if I do a little bit of 2-on-1 on their left arm? That gave me some success, not as much success as going for the Kimura. The Kimura was the thing that I found most useful there. And it gave the response to the Kimura was the response that I needed to clear the arm. So anytime you're playing, for those of you that are newer, anytime you're playing anything in jiu-jitsu, your A-B attack, it will eventually start to be very predictable. So if you want position B, you have to then set up A to C attack, knowing that, yes, I can finish with the C attack, but if they respond a certain way, it'll give me B, which is really what I wanted the entire time anyway. So once you start understanding that, then the mechanics of the positions that you're in start to make a lot of more sense. So I started doing that. I'm getting quite a bit of the interesting like back scrambles. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a very interesting aspect. I'm enjoying where I'm going. I'm enjoying the things that I can do there. It's offsetting some of the like advancement from top half that you kind of typically deal with. And more importantly, the other thing that I noticed was when I was in a position where maybe they were really blocking that position and I was trying to get in, but they started to block, I started coupling it with the near side underhook. So if I'm trying to get that octopus guard and I'm trying to get to that position and they, for some reason, beat me there and they start clamping maybe their elbow tighter to their rib cage and I can't get underneath, or they shift their body so their belly button faces my face a bit more, so then it makes traversing that distance harder. What I learned was I'm going to take what's possible. So I gave up on the Octopus entry, and I pulled the left or top hand and arm across their belly button. Now it's between my chest and their belly button. And I pulled it all the way across to the near side underhook. And because I'm already sort of up on my elbow, I'm already in a great position because of the underhook. Now I can do my entire underhook series from half guard without trying to get it from the jump. So again, the AB versus the AC combination. So again, I'm trying to get that under that Octopus guard. I'm up to my elbow, but they clamp and they're starting to smash my face. Instead of allowing them to smash me all the way back to the mat and flatten me out, I'm pulling my arm back, across the belly, and then underhooking the near side, getting maybe belt grip if you're doing gi, waist grip, or even up by the lat or the shoulder. And then I'm going right into all of my underhook attacks and sweeps and positions. And maybe the most common for me is I get that underhook and I start pushing my hips back and I go into butterfly. Sometimes I get that underhook and I come up to both knees and we're in dogfight. And then I could topple them over or limp my arm to start taking the back. But I'm cultivating a little bit of a mini game here where you're either going to give me the Octopus guard, and if you don't, you're giving me the underhook. I'm getting one of the two. And more often than not, because Octopus is newer to me and harder for me to get to, I'm getting that underhook. And that underhook is my saving grace in a lot of different things. So I'm really enjoying it, how it connected to an existing part of my game that I didn't even realize it would. Things that I think people mess up, not building up enough height, like I explained earlier, playing off your elbow instead of your hand. You want to get as high as possible to kind of prevent some of the cross-facing. The other thing was my common mistake was trying to force the Octopus guard. If they're not giving the honest feedback that you need, you're going to have to traverse to something else or mask what you're doing and forcing them to kind of give you something different. Have a lot of patience with yourself. Don't get frustrated. There's times when we try to implement these new tidbits to our game and they're not working early enough and we don't give enough time. Kind of like that meme where the gentleman is underground and he has a pickaxe and he's just working. And in one picture, the guy is quits, and the other one finally gets there and he quit just out of reach. Sometimes that happens with these skills that we're trying to implement. All techniques work. Some techniques are better for certain body types. Doesn't mean that you can't use it. Like I play a lot of spider guard and I don't have long limbs. And it's traditionally something that long limb players enjoy. But it doesn't mean that you can't do these things. You just have to put enough time in, start asking the right questions, start understanding, hey, it has to be something I'm not getting here. Or maybe there's the response that I'm not eliciting in order to get what I want. So have patience with yourself. Start asking questions. Don't feel like you need to go at it yourself. Ask the people around you. See the people who are implementing the game you're trying to implement and start picking their brain. It's a superpower. You don't want to sit here trying to figure out everything else on your own. You have people in that gym that are well aware of what you're trying to do. Ask. And sometimes, yes, you can ask the instructor, but sometimes the instructor isn't a subject matter expert on that position. So I might have answers for you. But in my gym, or the one that I'm working at, I will push you along to the person who I feel will give you even better answers. And that's not always a brown or black belt. Sometimes it's a blue belt. Sometimes it's a purple belt. And be like, hey, I know the position. I know the answers. I know what I'm doing. But that person has actually spent the last 8 months working on that position. They know it far better than I do. If you have any questions about this or anything else, please hit me up. DFM.2099 on Instagram and Threads. Free school program. I put all my recorded workshops on there, and we do Technique Tuesday, Q&A. I try to keep it lively and help as many people as possible. Again, any questions, hit me up. Until next time, thank you so much.